This is Amanda from the 36 LD Dems endorsement interview of Joe Molloy for candidate for Seattle mayor. Joe, over to you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time being here. Sorry if there's any background noise. We're in a little community space this afternoon. I heard when I first signed up for this great quote that said, "Elections are determined by the people who show up," and it's been really inspiring to me. I am currently a person who lives outside. I live in a shelter, a tent encampment, and I decided to run for office because I can see from where I'm at the problems that this city is actually facing. The way that our systems are set up oftentimes to perpetuate the crisis that we're facing, the failures that we're currently going through. I know that my candidacy has by and large been looked at this point as a novelty, and that's what I'm hoping to address here today. We view our team as very capable. We are a diverse group of perspectives with a deep understanding to our issues and a whole lot of hope and tenacity that we feel like in this, especially with what's happening on the federal level and the instability and uncertainty that we're facing. It's a group of people like us that are ready to lead, that are ready to create policies, practices, to address real legislation, to find sources of revenue, to find solutions to public safety that actually make sense to our community. We think that the time for serious change is upon us, largely out of necessity, which is, what most people going through similar experiences that I am are faced. So, sorry, thank you.
No, that's great. You did great and perfect timing. Our first question is going to be asked by Anita.
Hi. Please tell us why you are running for this office, what experiences you bring to this role, and how this informs how you will govern.
Yeah, thank you. Here, I'm going to jump over. Sorry, just on my side. Thank you. Yeah, like I had said towards in my introduction, I'm running for this office because I believe that I have an actual understanding of the problems that we're currently facing. For real solutions to be implemented, to actually take root, to produce results, a real depth of understanding of problems has to be had. And we, for decades now, have not had that understanding or even the willingness to understand the current crisis that we're facing from our mayor's office. There are a lot of paths that we can go forward as a city from where we're at right now and from what the ongoing instability from the federal office sort of is going to bring us. I'm running because I believe that there is a way to move forward that is incredibly simple, that there's an understanding that we could all gain from, and that addressing homelessness from this perspective will create a sort of foundational change to our whole city that could benefit everyone. We have a series of programs as part of our platform that are novel, that are unique, that are meant to be community building, relationship building, that are meant to look at long-term development inside of addressing a state of emergency, right? We're planting seeds. Through the process of addressing our emergency, we'll be planting seeds for long-term stability and long-term change. I hope that what can come out of this interview is an expansion on our platform outside of homelessness and outside of the sort of areas that might be assumed to know, and to really sort of gain a perspective on why how this can impact so much.
Great, thank you. You're gonna hear from me for this question. The city has had policies to address displacement while allowing for more housing. However, these policies have not worked in many parts of the city. What specific tools will you use to stop Seattle's continued loss of affordable housing for low-income families?
Oh, sorry, I was waiting for the timer. Thank you. Yeah, so I think there's been a lot of good initiatives, or like sort of the beginning of the process of really looking at displacement. I'm going to get the name wrong. I tried Wana Wemo, which is a nonprofit on the South Side that sort of used a lot of will and good effort, and created a nonprofit out of their I believe it was their grandmother's house. Um, we think that there's more room for like a diversity of options along this sort of displacement fight. One that was argued for was an equity ownership. So in spaces where development happens on top of a single family home, or like on the parcel of what was a single family home, you offer equity to the homeowner in the building that's going to be built there. So I think that's a great process. There are several other nonprofit-like paths that Wana Wemo kind of went, that we think could also be very beneficial for spaces like on the edge of development centers, sort of like the the edges of urban centers, or creating. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm lost on the last specific program, because there was one in particular that I wanted to bring up that I'm blanking on right now. But we do think that the equity development would be a really great way to go about it. Oh, expansion into the ADUs, and like capital gains from, or capital development help through ADUs. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't say more about that.
No worries. All right. I'm going to go ahead and ask the third question as well. What specific actions will you take to ensure enforceable progress towards carbon neutrality by 2050 and advancing environmental justice? And I'll start the timer when you start talking, so take your
Yeah.
time if you want to think.
Okay, thank you. There was a program that's coming out of Portland right now that I think is really interesting. They've sort of committed to creating 600, or planting 600,000 new trees. And just by chance, it worked out to be a proper percentage of the canopy coverage they're looking for, as well as approximately one tree for every person living in the city, right? So I thought that was a really cool like coincidence that came out of it. And so a public works program is something that we've been looking at to ensure that we could get a tree for every Seattleite, which I believe would put us right at about the same pace for what we want to get for tree canopy coverage. I think the number was 42. I've also heard other hopes of like actually 50% canopy coverage, which I think is great. That's a movement towards carbon neutrality, in along with. I think there's also been speculation that the Pacific Northwest will need almost twice the amount of electricity by about that time, 2050. So really looking at development, we already have everything in place to ensure that new buildings are green and innovative, carbon neutral as they can be right now. There's been a lot of gains in technology for even getting solar panels into windows. I met with a student that has a UW student that had won a business competition for putting solar panels into the sidewalks, and making a whole like process where the sidewalks end up being way easier to maintain, and are also taking in electricity. So I think we need to look at some really innovative programs and potentials as technology develops. and then continuing to plant trees, making sure as we build so many more houses, we keep our canopy.
Great. Our last prepared question will come from Chelsea.
Hi, Joe. The current federal administration government has shown hostility and taken action against cities and counties with progressive values like ours. How do you anticipate navigating and leading when we face urgent, complex, and dynamic challenges to civil rights, laws, funding, and so on?
Yeah, so this is in particularly, pressing question. This is something that's like impacting my actual day-to-day life, right? Where I live, we have a plan about what to do if ICE shows up, what to do if, several other kind of similar scenarios. So I think that there are some folks in leadership right now that are hoping if we stay quiet, we'll be off the radar. I think that's a ridiculous idea. We've already, we're Seattle, we're on the radar. We will be. So I think we need to double down. We need to declare that this is a sanctuary city. We need to protect people. We need to guarantee that we're not going to be developing relationships with federal organizations that are acting against federal judges' declarations, right? Like this is, I laugh because it's troubling and so it's unnerving that we even have to wonder like where our stance will be or how we can speak out about this. So yeah, it's a very scary time. I think we're a very ideal driven and intelligent city. It might require out of all of us to develop a real sense of community, to go check on your neighbors, go talk to people, go make sure that that people aren't going missing at this time. Like I said, doubling down that this is a sanctuary city also puts us in a position where we can lead by example. If we are pushing back, I say as in like local city leadership across the country, from both sides of the aisle, if we all agree that due process is a legitimate thing that we all should have the right to, then unifying voices against these who knows what's going to come next, right? A unified voice will do a lot to protect all of us. So we have to start at the local level.
Great, thank you. That ends the prepared questions that we have. We'll leave it open. We have a group of board members and members here if they have any follow-up questions. Otherwise, I'll give you some time to, I know we had some of those cut you off, so I'll give you some time to talk
Sure.
about, to finish up any questions you feel like you didn't get to answer or any closing points you'd like to make. I'll throw it open if there are any follow-up questions here, but otherwise I'll turn it over to you in a second. So give folks a minute. Yeah, I think it's all your time. So yeah, go for it. If you didn't need a chance to finish anything, or if
Okay.
there's a specific anything else you want to cover that we didn't ask you.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of would just like to mention like the whole platform that we have laid out is it introduces several unique programs that we view as an approach to address the homeless state of emergency that will open up a pathway, like a clear pathway for every person to have clearer access to basic needs and to in the process reduce cost of living. So it's a shelter to housing program that provides clear pathways, clear tiers, a homeless emergency response system that would cover asylum seeking and domestic violence, displacement in this front. And then finally, a UBI access program or like a pilot program that is unlike any before. It's designed to be sustainable, to support small businesses, and eventually be a sustainable program that's accessible to everyone.
Great. Thank you so much. Right on time on that one. So I think we're going to conclude and I'll go ahead and stop the recording.